A lot of thought and energy and actions were injected into this football academy through the training, the provision of equipment, outfitting of teams, and the organizing of the tournament. So I encourage you to give of your best whenever you're on the field, right? Be very competitive, make sure all the games are played fairly, and as the previous speaker said, may the best school win. I know it's going to be a very competitive tournament, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Grace Andy. From Demerara Distilleries Limited, or the other title sponsor as part of this. And I really cannot expressing appreciation for Scotiabank and DDL for having the trust and faith in this group towards having this tournament and also making this possible. I do thank you very much. Next on my agenda, we were expecting to have brief remarks from Mr. Colin Class, President of the Guyana Football Federation, but he was unable to be here today. He had a last-minute engagement. However, I do want to say, in addition to Scotiabank and DDL, the Guyana Football Federation has been very, very supportive of this program. So much so that they have almost invested almost as much as the title sponsors, and they need to be commended for that. So a big round of applause for the Guyana Football Federation. Giving brief remarks, the next person will be Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mr. Pondar Kandi. Mr. Kandi.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Honorable Minister, colleagues of the table, I first of all must tender apology for Honorable Minister Sheikh Baksh, who is unavoidably absent this morning. And I'm more than happy to stand in his place to associate ourselves in the Ministry of Education with this fine effort. I know Scotiabank has been a corporate sponsor for many years now, Pepsi, and I also understand that the Park and Humphrey Bakery and the Cinco are associated with this project. We in the Ministry of Education are trying to mainstream sport disciplines in the academic program and make it part of the curriculum in schools. Because I come from the old time when we used to learn Latin and said, mens sana in corpore sano, simply means a healthy mind in a healthy body. And I do not like the stigma of attaching to players and other sports, individuals, the belief that they did not do well in the academics, that's why they're in sports. We've known, of course, of many hundreds of sportsmen and women who have done well academically and gone on to become rounded people and done well in the world of sports. So I think this is the benchmark to which we must aspire. And we really want to thank Corporate Guyana and to invite the others who have not yet gotten the message to come on board with the ministry, with the government, in promoting sport in our schools. We see what is happening in cricket, and yesterday we had another small but extremely significant event at the Border Cricket Ground, where we're trying to do some grassroots interventions in cricket coaching. Similarly here, the Sports Federation and the Ministry of Youth, Culture, Youth and Sport and Corporate Guyana must be commended for helping our youngsters. And I hope that this pilot can grow into a success story of all the schools across Guyana to become enthused in doing sport, whatever it is, whether it be football or cricket or volleyball or indoor sport. It must become part of your thinking and part of our academic program. So without further ado, I'd like to say that we stand four square behind this effort at the Ministry of Education, and we wish you best of luck in the game today. And
we then move on for more brief remarks, and now we'll have the Honorable Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports. Dr. Anthony.
Thank you very much, Colin. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Pulanda Kanai, other invitees, sponsors, parents, students, teachers. I'm indeed very happy to be here with you this morning as we launch this pilot program in football. In my discussions with Mr. Baker, I was telling him that this program perhaps is long overdue. I would actually like to see football being played in every primary and secondary school in Guyana, and to ensure that this becomes perhaps a sport that we can see in every community across this country. But for some reason, we have not had that kind of widespread playing of football in the school system. And perhaps there might have been a number of barriers. But we are very pleased that we would be able to pilot this, first of all, in Georgetown. I think we are starting with 10 schools and eventually scale this up. But what this pilot would allow us to do is to ensure that we understand maybe how to train our teachers, how to train more people in officiating, and of course how to run tournaments. And once we master those techniques, we'll then be able to replicate that across this country. And I think this effort here would really be something that we'll want to see turn out to be a success, and to ensure that we are able to replicate this. The Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, in our sport plan, we have two main pillars of that plan. And the first pillar has to do with community sports, and the second one has to do with school sport. And we would be collaborating with the Ministry of Education and other entities, other organizations, to ensure that we have a lot of sport in schools, because we think this is very, very essential. And that is why we would like to take this opportunity once again to congratulate all of the organizers, and I would like to wish them success in this endeavor. I know many of these things cannot happen without financing, and that is why the people who are sponsoring this tournament, Scotiabank, Pepsi, and the others, we would want to give them a big round of applause for their sponsorship. So to the students from the various schools participating in this tournament, one way of showing your appreciation for such sponsorship is that we want you to have a very disciplined tournament, we want you to give of your best, and we want you to impress the organizers in such a way that we can take the lessons that we will be learning from this tournament and replicate it as we move to a national effort. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony. And I should say it gives me a great feeling to hear the comments from Dr. Anthony and the other guest speakers on their support and commitment to this and to go countrywide. I know the sponsors are ready, the Ministry of Education is ready, the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports are ready, all the stakeholders are ready. I'm sure you kids are ready to play in the countrywide tournament. And therefore, please be advised that we need to start discussions and planning immediately if this is going to happen. But thank you very much. I do want to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Conrad Plummer, Chairman of the National Sports Council. Thanks for being here. At this time, by special request, we will have very brief remarks from two students of Queen's College, Isaiah Hope and Joel Haynes. If you can come forward. Give them a round of applause, it's okay. You know, they're maybe a little nervous, but...
We would like to welcome everyone to the opening ceremony of the Scotiabank Pepsi School Football Association Academy, the brainchild of the overseas-based GSDN, whose mandate is to develop sports in this country. Special thanks must be given to Mr. Colin Baker, the hard-working GSDF Executive Director, who did tireless preparatory work both in the United States and also here in Guyana. Thanks also to Mr. Stanley Harman, the dedicated and competent GSDF Technical Director, who coordinated the coaching course that was well received by each and every teacher. Yet, nothing would not have happened without the total commitment of the two sponsors, Scotiabank and DDL Pepsi. In conjunction with the two enthusiastic government stakeholders, the Ministries of Education and Culture, Youth and Sports, their representative officers. Last, but certainly not least, heartfelt thanks to the Guyana Football Federation for doing all it could to assist the much-needed project and giving it due sanction.
Here's hoping that this tournament will prove to be competitive and very entertaining, with each and every school team demonstrating the techniques they have been learning. Queen's College, Christchurch Secondary, St. George's Secondary, Tutorial High School, Lodge Secondary, North Georgetown Secondary, Charlestown Secondary, Tugville Secondary, and hopefully Marion Academy. All the teams participating, both boys and girls, will certainly emerge as winners. For from this first school academy tournament, there will definitely be future national players. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaiah and Joel, personally also for those kind words. Today, after this ceremony, which concludes in a short while, we will have a game, Queen's College versus Tugville. And so at this time, we are asking those teams to step away, to start getting yourselves ready, because we would like to make a prompt start of that game at 10:30. So you can step out. Now, I just want to give thanks again to the sponsors. Scotiabank and DDL again. Thank you very much. It's been unbelievable. For the special invitees being here, I want to extend hearty thank you. Now, there are some other sponsors who has been doing their part behind the scenes. I did mention earlier the Guyana Football Federation, and they've been very, very supportive. La Park and Shipping, assisting us with shipping concessions for getting these gears to Guyana. And a lot of times it turned out to be very expensive because we had to do it by air in order to get it here. Desingo Trading, very appreciative of Desingo Trading. Humphreys Bakery as well. And last but not least, Caribbean Airlines in assisting us with baggage concessions again. We would like to thank these private companies with their sponsorship. And last but not least, not to forget the alumni associations who've contributed to the school's uniforms. We do thank you very much.